Gentlemen, we had an early feast this year.
I'm not sure if you did, but I know I didn't eat Thanksgiving early.
I'm not talking about Thanksgiving. I'm talking about an amazing feast of announcements of shows coming to Disney Plus.
It's not quite the same thing, but I see what you did there.
Well, it's true. From a certain point of view.
We need Steven.
I know, I can't do it.
Steve, if you want to come on and record that real quick.
Yeah, we'll talk about everything that we got and didn't get from Disney Plus Day next. This is Tatooine Sons.
It's true. All of it.
What is the name of the porg on the Millennium Falcon?
Force is strong in my family.
What do you think his name is? It's a big moment.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Maybe Turbis?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Turbis? Pablo, if you're listening to this live stream, that porg's name is now Turbis. It's a good Star Wars name.
We're not done yet.
These guys recorded an awesome podcast called Tatooine Sons. Everybody was
Tomorrow night, did we get like a confirmed time? They just said
The showing is at 5 o'clock in the evening in Pacific time, and then it's like
I thought it was the day before.
No. Tomorrow, and then I think after that is when they show. And Sony's the official Spider-Man account on Twitter.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No Way Home account.
They said it was coming out.
Yeah. Welcome to Tatooine Sons, a pop culture podcast. We are the only fan podcast to name us canon Star Wars creature. Turbis is canon, and be endorsed by Rian Johnson, who did not have his trilogy announced at Disney Plus Day.
Dang it.
Which would have made
no sense. There was a lot that wasn't announced.
Well, yeah, there would have made no sense, though, because it's a Disney Plus day.
Exactly.
Not a movie day.
But everybody's probably taking it as they've canceled this trilogy.
Yeah, wait for the headlines.
Yeah, we believe that pop culture is the mythology of our generation, that there is a story, it is written on our souls, and that these myths speak to that story. And that is why we are talking about the legend of Boba Fett and Kenobi and a plethora of stories coming from Marvel.
Why did you space that out so much?
Because I know, you
dramatic effect.
You want to say Star Wars, right? But that's not. So I'm David. I am the dad.
Hi, Dad.
And I am honored to be joined every week, but especially this week. I'm super excited to record this. It's been a weird, hard couple weeks. And
it really has.
Having a conversation with you two about this is great. How are my amazing sons doing?
Good.
What you talking about,
busy.
Sammy?
We're going to take a look under the helmet, or should I say, of one of our favorite Star Wars characters, at least one of mine.
I was going to say, you got a mouse in your pocket. Yeah. No, we like him too. So what about you, BB Nate?
Well, Marvel had a really big day on Friday.
Yeah, we've pretty much established Marvel had the big day Friday.
Exactly. You, Dad?
The sizzle reel for Obi Wan Kenobi should completely change your expectations for this series. Have you watched it in detail?
I actually have not yet.
Are you kidding me?
I have.
I was waiting to watch it with you guys, and then apparently you all watched
We're going to just go pull back the curtain on the show. I promise you, we're going to pause this in just a minute because we have we pause between segments when we're recording.
And we're watching.
We're going to watch that.
I figured we were going to.
Because you're not talking about Kenobi without having watched it. With it. Make sure you guys stick around for the dad moment this week. I think Star Wars fandom needs a stern talking to. And that's coming up at the end of... I had it scheduled for the Kenobi segment, but I think it makes sense to be
better after the
Marvel segment, since Marvel got all the fun. This episode is sponsored by cufflinks.com. Remember that they have over 3,000 items on their website from Star Wars, Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, Rolf, if you're listening to this, Star Trek, NFL, NCAA, Major League Baseball, NBA, and everything else that you can think of. We're very
got all the sports.
all the sports.
All the sports ball.
We love them. Thank you guys for sponsoring our show. Make sure you're following the show on whatever podcast app you're listening to. Hope you're enjoying our new schedule as these episodes are coming out now on Tuesdays. And then we have our interview series coming out on Friday. And last week we had our great conversation about growing up with a Star Wars dad and then becoming a Star Wars dad with Pete Fletzer, and people have really responded well to that. So if you have not listened to that one, please check it out. I'll go ahead and link to it in the show notes if I remember to do that. I'm super excited about Friday's episode. You okay over there, Paperboy?
I am okay.
All right, I'm going to call you Paperboy if you keep moving your
Paperboy?
papers,
I like that. It's like Newsies.
during the show. Yeah. Look at me, I'm the king in New York. All right,
Intro sequence is taking a little bit longer than usual.
Stuart's going to be on, our pastor. He's going to talk about The Matrix. I am excited about this episode.
Yeah, y'all had a
It
good
is
discussion about that.
A fun conversation. That's it. All right, Sam, go.
All right. For Disney Plus Day, Disney released a special all about my guy, Boba Fett, titled Under the Helmet. We're going to discuss what makes Boba Fett special, his real origin story, and the infamous Boba Fett toy. That's all next.
Be on your guard. There are older and fouler things than orcs in the deep places of the world.
All right, then, keep your secrets.
You're coming to us. Is as the footsteps of do's and do's.
There are many magic rings in this world, Bilbo Baggins, and none of them should be used lightly.
I broke one last night. I felt so bad for the guy.
I know.
Did I tell you
Yeah,
what
yeah,
happened?
you told me.
So we went to see the Rogue One Disney Plus Day Star Wars
Special thing.
screening. We knew because we follow everything on social like you guys
And the
do,
runtime.
and the runtime and everything else, that it was going to be Rogue One, and we were super excited to go see Rogue One.
It's Rogue One.
Sam didn't get to go.
Sorry, Sam. But it was probably for the
Yeah,
best
I know.
because
You're even wearing your Rogue One shirt today.
I am.
I was bummed that you weren't there. It didn't
Yeah.
feel right not
Yeah.
having you there. But, physics exams.
I listened to the soundtrack, though.
That's
So
that
I
works.
guess that's something.
But there was a guy in there. It was us. It was like 9:15 on Sunday night is when it started.
oh, we got home so late.
We did, because it was all the way in Pensacola, so it's like an hour drive back to and from. But we're sitting there in the theater, and there's this one guy in the back, and the movie gets over, and they showed the Book of Boba Fett trailer or whatever it was, all that before.
of
It was
Disney Plus
great.
stuff,
I was sitting there geeking out the whole movie. I was like, this is such a good movie. I love this movie. And then we get done, and we're walking down the stairs, and he walks past us, and he goes, man, Disney gave us a head fake with this thing. And I'm like, what do you mean?
What are you talking about?
It's like, I thought we'd get an episode of the Book of Boba Fett or Kenobi or something, man. It's like, no. So anyway,
For
it felt-
$5, you expected to get an early episode
and there's
of
3
Kenobi.
people in the room.
Yeah, no, that's not happening. But wishful thinking, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about some of the interesting concepts that came out of that short. Excuse me.
You all right there?
No, I'm not. I'm choking on my own spit. Professional podcasting here. All right. So Boba Fett only has about 6 minutes and 32 seconds of screen time in the original trilogy, along with a whopping 4 lines of dialogue.
Okay, hey, right now, you're a Boba Fett fan. You should know all 4. Go.
Oh, shoot. As You Wish, He's No Good to Me Dead, Put Captain Solo in the Cargo Hold. That's only 3. That's all I got right now.
I don't even know.
Do you know the other one?
Oh, I can't remember it now.
I can't.
It's when you're trying
I was
to
kidding,
remember.
though.
Yeah, no,
I did
I'm not
good. That's
gatekeeping
75%.
your
That's a
Boba
C.
Fett fandom.
But all of that makes it surprising that he had such a cult following over the years, sparking the entire Mandalorian culture that we see in Clone Wars and stuff, and being the inspiration for the Mandalorian TV show, as Favreau originally wanted to create a Boba Fett TV show.
Wow.
I guess dreams really do come true. Now, I may be a little bit biased. So for you guys, what do you think makes Boba Fett so special?
I think that it was just a cool suit. especially at the beginning. A lot of people judged it by how different it was and everything else. It wasn't super clunky and a weird looking suit as a lot of the sci-fi movies had back then. It felt like an armor, and it had its own kind of story to it, and you can tell that by just looking at it. I think that was what made it so interesting. And everybody was like, okay, this person has ties to Darth Vader. I want to know more about him. And so I think that's what made people get drawn to him so much.
Well, there's only one of us that grew up during the Boba Fett era, the start of it. I'll promise you, it has nothing to do with thinking about his backstories or anything like that. He looked freaking cool.
Oh, that's what Sammy had.
It was the coolest looking character. He was different than everybody else in Star Wars, and he was mysterious. I'll say that. In The Empire Strikes Back and in Return of the Jedi, there was the mystery.
The whole no disintegrations and everything.
That's the other line.
Yeah. Oh, no. That's what he says, as you wish to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, so very
that's
cool.
Vader.
That's why he was loved. And he's cool.
And as the resident Boba Fett fan, I can confirm. That's why I liked that character. I thought he looked cool. But I mean, he's that mysterious gunslinger vibe, right? He doesn't talk much, obviously, but he's a threat to be reckoned with. He just holds himself with this gravity. And that's, I think that's definitely why I gravitated to him. And his helmet, it's such a striking design. You notice that T shape anywhere. So yeah, I think you're about right. We also got Boba's real origin story in this special. Originally, his armor was going to be all white, and Lucas wanted to have 100 of the suits made for the Empire's Super Troopers for Empire Strikes Back, but due to budget constraints, they could only make one. So thanks to the amazing minds working behind the scenes, including Ralph McQuarrie, they created the look of Boba Fett as we know it. Now, I was under the impression that the public's first exposure to Boba Fett was through the holiday special, but that's not the case. Dad, why don't you explain what they
So according to the amazing Under the Helmet short,
which they fit a lot in 20 minutes.
They did. That we talked that you got. If you haven't watched it on Disney Plus, watch it.
It's the best thing for Star Wars that came out of Disney Plus Day.
No, it's the second best thing that came out.
It's best for me.
Yeah, I would.
So anyway, they threw a parade in Marin County, and they had it was like a holiday parade, wasn't it?
I think it was something like that.
And they had Darth Vader, and
they were the screen used suits.
Yeah,
for Darth
the real
Vader.
Darth Vader suit, and then the Boba Fett suit painted and everything else, walking down, and you see, the footage of these kids just transfixed by Boba Fett, and it's amazing how a character that you have no idea who he is, no idea what his name is, nothing like that. These kids immediately are just looking at it. They already knew Vader, and you could see the reactions to that. But Boba Fett was the one that their eyes just locked on and wouldn't let go of. And I think that goes back to the previous, question and conversation in the segment where we're talking about it's just he looks so cool, and that's what the kids were thinking, and that's what as a kid growing up in the original trilogy, that's what I was thinking.
Boba underwear, right?
Oh yeah, my Boba Fett underoos. Oh my gosh, I gotta find those.
Yeah, I mean, but funny enough,
Find your Death of Superman comics first.
Those would fit. But like what you're saying here, one of the reasons that Star Wars was so successful was the memorabilia you could purchase. This success also contributed to the success of Boba Fett, but it didn't quite go to plan. The figure was marketed to have a missile launching jetpack. This was still when you mail in your proof of purchase, and they would mail you a figure when they were produced, what they did for the first movie. And they were promised to have a missile launching backpack or jetpack, but upon release, the missiles were glued into place for safety reasons, making the few in existence as their only prototypes extremely valuable. I think one sold for $75,000 or something insane.
I think even more than that.
Probably more than that. But they showcased one of the lucky collectors who has, I think, two of them in this special. Nate,
Steve Sansweet from Rancho Obi Wan.
Why don't you talk talk about
guys, yeah.
Steve Stansui and his Boba collection, all of his Boba stuff.
I mean, of course, we've been exposed to Rancho Obi-Wan for a few years. We first really started to hear about them at Celebration with
he had,
47 and everything.
he had a little bit of a booth.
And walking around there, it was really cool seeing all the stuff he had. And then, of course, he always shows up every year. Rancho Obi-Wan is known for being the biggest Star Wars collection in the world. I mean, it has the Guinness World Record of it. And so it's really just a cool place to think about. He has all of these amazing things of Star Wars that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
Like the tap dancing Star Wars characters that he had. He had a Boba Fett one. It was shown in this. Like, who even knew that existed? But he has the whole collection. And so it's really awesome to hear about this guy just dedicated his life to having this giant collection.
That's a bucket list item for me.
Yeah.
Right now is
What,
to
a
go
tap
to
dancing
No, to go to
awesome.
Yeah, that too. No, but to go to Rancho Obi-Wan.
Yes.
And not just go, but like you realize he
Absorb
personally tours you. When you sign up to go, he'll personally give you a tour.
Where is it?
It's
It's in-
Northern California.
yeah.
It's in California.
Yeah. He worked for Lucasfilm.
Well, that
for a
explains
long
why he
time,
probably
so.
has a lot of that
Yeah.
stuff.
But he's
yeah.
also a super collector of it,
I
obviously.
mean, it is incredible. They showcase like a small portion of his collection in that short or in that special. It's unbelievable.
It's insane.
But a lot of the stuff is Boba Fett stuff because it is such, like you said, an iconic image. You recognize that when it's put on a merchandise. And then they had some really big names show up to do some interviews. Dave Filoni was there to talk about Boba's influence on the Clone Wars TV series. But they even had Kathleen Kennedy and George Lucas show up for a a little bit.
Crazy Uncle George.
What are your guys' thoughts on George showing up? He's tended to kind of stay away from Star Wars ever since Disney bought it.
I think that him coming back, I think he feels like is a necessity for this thing he loves so much. He knows that all the fans are kind of just angry at Disney and are like, bring George Lucas back. So him showing his support for what Disney is doing,
I'm going to correct something you said there because you used a blanket statement that's just not accurate. Not all the Star Wars fans.
You know what I
A
didn't
very
mean that.
small vocal group of Star Wars fans are stupid about this. They're the same ones that like produced The People versus George Lucas after the prequels that were against him.
And now are like absolutely all for it.
Absolutely. So I think that that's an issue. But anyway, carry on.
Yeah, I think that him showing his support for Disney and their decisions is a really big deal. And him showing his support for Star Wars is a big deal. I think that he understands this is his baby. This is what he's made. This is his passion. So,
and I also think that the relationship that he has with Dave Filoni is a reason why, because the Book of Boba Fett series is being executive produced by Dave. It's a big deal. The character is a big deal to George.
Yeah.
I think that this is an opportunity for him to show his support for not just Star Wars in the Disney era and Kathleen Kennedy, who he handpicked.
Right.
To be the president of Lucasfilm as part of the deal, but also because he's got the relationship with Dave Filoni and now Jon Favreau. And I think he wants to support them on that. So,
yeah. Now, they had just about everybody involved in bringing that character to life that you could think of in this special. Save the one that had the most impact, Jeremy Bulloch, the actor who wore the suit in the original trilogy. Sadly, Jeremy passed away last year, but they had his wife share about his story with the character, along with how kind and understanding he was with fans. I had the privilege of meeting him in Celebration 2017, waited in line for 3 hours to get his autograph because he took his time with each of the fans. And
he had a long line.
one of the most popular autographs in the entire con,
Easily.
with the longest lines. And he is having a conversation with every Boba Fett fan that came to his table.
Yeah. Yeah, and I got to go up there. It kind of was all a bit of a blur when I got up there. But he signed my Boba Fett backpack, which I still own to this day. It's not in the best of condition, but I used it because I wanted to show it off. But I got to meet him and I took my picture with him. We have that picture up in the podcast room. So it's very
Sam's standing
bittersweet.
there pointing at his backpack with his autograph, standing next to Jeremy Bulloch, and he's got those braces on. He looks like super nerd.
Oh, I am so nerdy in that picture.
It's a great picture.
a
It's one of my
fantastic
favorite
picture.
pictures because you look like a little kid in it.
Oh
You are
yeah,
a little kid.
I was a little kid.
So,
it's funny how much I've grown in 4 years.
Yeah.
Wow, it's only been wow. Anyway.
But so that was kind of bittersweet for me. But it was interesting to hear her story about how he almost didn't get the role. He was doing something
Yeah.
for theater, and when he got the audition call, and he didn't feel like doing it, but his wife, convinced him to go, and now it changed
his life. It changed Star Wars because he was able to be a part of that, and the way that he embraced that. It reminds me a lot about Dominic Pace. I'm standing here looking at the other side of our podcast studio, and we've got the Gecko, the Bounty Hunter comic book that they made, and then a photo, and they're both autographed by Dominic. And he's trying to take that legacy of Jeremy Bulloch and his love for the fans and the characters, the bounty hunters and stuff, and taking that back and kind of continuing that legacy now that Jeremy Bulloch has passed on. And so we're super excited that Gecko is now canon.
Yes, congratulations.
And so again, congratulations, Dominic, on that.
Yeah. But while we did get a lot of info onto the character of Boba Fett, there's quite a bit that we didn't get. We didn't get any reference to Mandalorian culture, really. I mean, we just discussed how that is a fact, but they didn't really talk about that at all. We didn't get any reference to the Mandalorian, which is what brought this character back into the public consciousness. And we didn't get any new footage from the Book of Boba Fett. They just speed ran the trailer that we had already gotten. Why do you guys think that this was the case?
I think it was just they wanted to focus on what Boba Fett meant to all of the original fans. And, it's a story that a lot of us didn't know about. You didn't know about most of the stuff that happened with the toy, or that he didn't show up for the first time in the holiday special. And so it was just a way to kind of okay, well, we all love Boba Fett. There's this moot show coming out soon. Let's tell you about how he became to be. So,
yeah, I love the fact that they didn't reference any of the new content coming out, because then it became about Boba Fett and about celebrating that character and what he's meant to fans and the actors involved and everybody involved, without it being, hey, let's pitch the new show or let's pitch the Mandalorian, that kind of thing. It's been awesome to see that character simply celebrated.
Yeah, I agree. They did the character justice, I feel like, and Jeremy with that. While we didn't get anything new in terms of story, we did get some new details as to how our favorite bounty hunter came to be and why fans latched onto him so well. And I, for one, am a big fan of the short or of the special. So
very good.
Yeah,
good segment.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that was a good job. We got some bad news coming up here in a second. Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen battle in the Obi Wan Kenobi sneak peek. Did you guys see that moment?
Oh my gosh!
When they
battled each other so much. Yeah.
Well, no, that's not what let's talk about. Anyway, goodbye, Tom Holland. He's gone as Spider-Man star.
It's because he spoiled too much.
And Henry Cavill is it Cavill or Cavill?
It's Cavill. It's like travel, but
Okay, thanks.
Cavill.
He's not very happy about J.J. Abrams' Superman, so we'll talk about that up on Bad News.
This is not going to go the way you think.
All right, we started the segment last week. It was our what did
inaugural.
What did you wear to church yesterday segment? And since I don't even know if I got to see you guys dressed up for church because I was at a different church for something, I need to find out. So Samuel, what'd you wear?
I mean, I pretty much always wear my Mando tie, my Mando skull tie, my hyperspace tie bar. I didn't wear the socks because they were dirty, but I did wear some blue Millennium Falcon cufflinks.
Oh, you wore the white shirt with the cufflinks.
I did. Mm-hmm. That was interesting. I'd never worn cufflinks.
I'm a little
before.
jealous. What was that like?
It was interesting to try and figure out how to put
feel,
on.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
That's cool. What about you, BB Nate? Anything special?
I wore the BB-8 tie and tie bar and everything.
This looks really sharp.
Did you wear the socks?
I did actually. I did wear the socks with the whole get up.
That's
awesome. What about you?
I didn't wear anything Star Wars.
All right.
Because I didn't have any clean shirt to wear with me. So
fair enough.
That's what happens when mom's in the hospital again and you've been traveling. So anyway, obviously the three of us are Sharp Dressed fans, and we appreciate the opportunity to have them sponsor our podcast. They are absolutely amazing. The things we love so much about cufflinks.com is the not just the cufflinks, it's the ties, like they said, the socks, the tie bars, everything else. It's a way for you to show your fandom in a subtle but really cool way.
Yeah.
And that's a...
Yeah, I actually had somebody, compliment that. They're like, it's so subtle. I didn't even notice it. The BB-8 tied.
Who was it?
I don't remember who it was, but somebody said it.
Right.
They also actually have over 3,000 items, which is a lot of items on the website covering not
I've
just...
counted them.
Wow.
That's how you
guys
spend your
have
time?
no life, dude.
No, I haven't.
Covering not just cufflinks, like their name, but ties, tie bars, socks, money clips, which why don't we have a money clip?
Because nobody carries cash anymore.
I do.
a whole wad
I have
of cash
not
right
gotten
now.
a card yet. I'm still cash.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's getting even closer to Christmas. I know some of you are like me and you want to wait till like after Thanksgiving to start thinking about that stuff because, you got to give Thanksgiving its due diligence. But you got to start thinking about Christmas shopping. So use the code Tatooine15 at checkout to receive 15% off everything on the site with no minimum order required.
That's right. Head on over to cufflinks.com right now, today. Like, pause. You don't even have to pause. You can just keep listening to the show.
In the background.
But go over to cufflinks.com and then put all the stuff in the cart and then use that code Tatooine15 at the checkout.
Well, you want the bad news or the really bad news?
Yeah, I said it in the tease for this. Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen battle in the Obi Wan Kenobi sneak peek.
What?
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Obi Wan Kenobi sizzle reel a little bit later in the show after Sam has a chance to watch it. But if you have a life outside of Star Wars and you haven't watched it, or you're like Sam, here's what you need to know about this headline. The sizzle reel doesn't show Ewan and Hayden battling at all. It's the show's concept art for the series. The headline is designed to amp up unsuspecting fans, generate a click, and inevitably lead them to a letdown. And that is why I'm giving this a clickbait level of 7.
Yeah. Goodbye, Tom Holland. Marvel announces new Spider-Man star.
Wow.
So this one's from Inside the Magic. I think they're back for their weekly appearance. Check out the opening sentence in this article.
Oh, yeah. The last one was Giant Freaking Robot because they're here always.
They're always here. Though Tom Holland has one last run with a Marvel movie in Spider-Man No Way Home next month, Marvel Studios isn't wasting time moving on with Spider-Man without Holland under the mask.
That's a terrible line. I mean,
It is. It's like they're
just throwing him away.
Forgetting Holland for Spider-Man forever. No, it's just the end of the trilogy.
Yeah. No worries. It's just more garbage clickbait, as this has nothing to do with the MCU films or even the Spider-Verse films from Sony. This is a rehash of the exact same garbage we exposed last week regarding Black Widow. This article is assuming that Tom Holland won't be playing Peter Parker / Spider-Man in the animated shows announced on Disney Plus Day. There isn't even a confirmation of this because the reason Holland didn't voice the character in animation before had as much to do with his contract as it did anything else. But recent developments regarding the Spider-Verse could potentially change all that. This one is definitely deserving of a clickbait level 10.
It is.
That's
wow.
terrible.
That is bad. And Henry Cavill gets...
not Cable.
Cavill.
Yeah, Cavill. Gets honest about DC's Black Superman reboot.
Ooh, that headline just makes me
I know.
cringe.
It's like, it gets me physically angry.
Oh, yeah.
It's really bad. This is from Epic Stream. We had 3 pretty weekly appearances this week.
It's not hard to find this stuff. I just got to go to their website.
It is.
Yeah.
If you're looking for that headline on the article we're linking in the show notes, you won't find it. This is the headline as listed on Epic Stream's Facebook page. The problems with it are numerous. First, it suggests that Henry Cavill is against the reboot when it says that he gets honest about it. The air quotes on a podcast. Second, it throws race into the forefront, which is horribly irresponsible, and the image used has an angry version of Henry Cavill's Superman. But Cavill's comments are supportive of the J.J. Abrams version in production, saying that Superman resembles something far more than skin color, and why not have multiple Supermen going on? Joaquin Phoenix did a wonderful Joker movie, so what if it's not tied to the rest of the franchise? They have multiple comic book storylines happening at the same time. And so this headline is crafted to specifically bring out the worst in fan reactions. So it definitely deserves a 10.
It's absolutely hideous.
Yeah.
It really, that was,
It really angered me when I saw
does.
it.
And me too. When you sent it to me, I was not happy.
Yeah. All right, it's your turn.
Yes,
You get to keep going.
Disney Plus Day was a disappointment to some, but to Marvel fans, it was a great day. So let's just dive into all the news.
Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yeah, I can fly.
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
The people in this room, which one is A, wearing a spangly outfit, and B, not of use?
There's only one God, man. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
Batman has no limits.
I think that's even better than the front almost.
You're crazy.
Being
the Olaf
facetious.
poster.
Woo! Hey, I always got a little worried though when they handed them to us because it was only the Olaf side. And I was like,
we're going to the Rogue One Star Wars thing and you're giving us an Olaf poster.
And then I just flipped it and it was just Book of Boba Fett.
Awesome.
But we had first looks this week from the Marvel Disney Plus Day special Disney Plus thing. 3 little new trailers. We got actually the longest
Not
one was
really
4.
even trailers or teasers.
Moon Knight was kind of the
Sizzle?
closest for a teaser-esque thing, but first reactions to the 30-second teaser for Moon Knight.
It looks trippy. I love it. It looks dark too. I mean, obviously, literally, it's a dark setting, but I mean, just that like whole bathroom scene where like everything's messed up in there and he's beating the crap out of somebody. I mean, it looks intense. I think it looks good. It kind of reminds me of Daredevil a little bit. The few episodes I saw, it kind of gives me that vibe.
Yeah, well, you apparently don't look at the notes.
No, I don't.
So, Baby Nate's over here with this look on his face.
It's all good.
I liked it. I think it was awesome. Obviously, you know, there's some different. He feels like a DC character. How's it? Can I say it that way?
Is that like an insult or is that a compliment?
No, I think he reminds me of your favorite superhero character. But I also love sort of the waking and sleeping,
schizophrenic,
the dream, because
Jekyll and Hyde almost.
In reflections at the beginning, he was walking past a reflection in the mirror, and the reflection was staring back at him. It wasn't walking.
Oh wow,
with him.
that's
just
bizarre.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It was really cool.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, like Sammy said, and just totally took from my notes. A lot of Batman vibes from this, especially the bathroom scene. Very excited about it, and depending on how this show goes with its tone, it might be a way for Marvel to do the rumored Daredevil reboot show on Disney Plus.
Explain to me why you say that.
Well, because we haven't really had a dark show for Marvel yet, or really a dark anything. I mean, what if with its Doctor Strange episode was the darkest that Marvel ever went?
So you feel like if they can pull off the Moon Knight,
if they can pull off this gritty, like, you know, city feel, they can do well with Daredevil. We also got She-Hulk stuff, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't get much, but we did see Hulk and She-Hulk in the same room, and the line, you know, you don't want to get me angry, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry, which was fun. But this
and they were kind of dressed like it was the 70s Hulk show.
Yeah,
Incredible
which I have
show.
no idea how that'll tie into anything, but we'll see, of course. And this actually might also tie to Daredevil, with Jennifer also being a criminal lawyer. So that's interesting. Everything's coming
Maybe
up Daredevil
she's in
right now.
No Way Home.
That'd be
Maybe
kinda
she's
cool.
like a prosecutor.
And Daredevil's the
That'd be kind of
defense
cool.
attorney. That'd be really cool. Just superheroes. There's a superhero court. There probably is, and I just didn't know. But Miss Marvel didn't actually get all that much from this one, but we did see Kamala in her first costume based off of Captain Marvel, which was really awesome. Now for the new announcements for the shows. Echo, which this is probably the biggest one to come out of all of the new announcements. Echo focuses on Maya Lopez, played by Aliqua Cox, which is a lot like Charlie Cox. That's actually interesting. I don't know.
Like Charlie Cox.
Well, the last name's the same. I don't know if that's just on, I don't know. But a character from Marvel's upcoming Disney Plus series, Hawkeye. So she is going to be in Hawkeye, but it's not clear if it will follow Maya before or after the events of the November MCU series. Maya Lopez is tied very closely to Kingpin, which is very telling for if Kingpin is going to be in Hawkeye or not, judging by the faction series with the tracksuit gang working for Kingpin.
Oh, yeah.
And then this person also is working with Kingpin. And this might be connecting to Daredevil again with all the Kingpin stuff. So, yeah, there's a lot going on with that. We have X-Men 97. Now, this is a new show.
This is exciting.
It is. This is a new show that is going to be telling tales set in the original show's timeline.
I literally have the theme song going through my head.
And I was just about to ask.
That's Spider-Man.
Oh, dang it.
I was going to ask, Dad, did you ever watch this show?
I used to watch it all the time.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
It was like, I used to watch it as a kid too.
Yeah, I saw a few episodes.
Yeah. I watched Wolverine and the X-Men more. Yeah. I liked that one a lot more. But
no, this is a really good series.
It is a really good series. I'm excited to see what they do with it. Don't know why Marvel Studios is picking it up as a way. They said it's a good way to introduce X-Men back to fans, but it's weird. It's Marvel Studios.
Interesting.
But we'll see. And actually, a lot, if not all of the original voice actors are going to be reprising their original roles and
exciting.
more.
That is cool.
That is really cool. Now we have Spider-Man, not men. Sorry, that could have, somebody's going to take that in the wrong way. Spider-Man.
I can see the clickbait headlines now.
Exactly. Spider-Man.
We got this covered. Tatooine Sons confirms Spider-Man.
Freshman year. Spider-Man freshman year. The animated series follows Peter Parker on his way to becoming Spider-Man in the MCU with a journey unlike we've ever seen and a style that celebrates the character's early comic book roots, written by executive producer Jeff Trammell from Marvel.com. Any theories on this show? Please speculate.
We are totally going to get the Ben moment, the Uncle Ben death moment. It's going to happen.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of cool that they're doing it in an animated series, though. Mm-hmm. It's different. It's not like the same thing.
And the art really does look like the old comic books. So that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where they go with this. And I think it's a nice way to tell the origin story without doing it in another movie. It's such a, not overdone origin story, but everyone knows Spider-Man's origin story at this point. So it's nice that they're giving him that treatment at this point, but not in the fashion you always see it.
And there's a part of me that feels like they want to go down this comic book style because that helps bridge the gap from the fans that are used to watching the Marvel stuff to now they get to see it in comic book form, and maybe that connects them to comic books so that they're going, because Marvel's, originally a comic book company,
exactly. So. Yeah, I don't know what is going to happen with it. I'm excited for it though. And we have Marvel Zombies, which is exciting. The animated series from Marvel Studios reimagines the Marvel universe as a new generation of heroes battle against an ever-spreading zombie scourge. Scourge. Okay. All right. Directed by executive producer Brian Andrews and written by executive producer Zeb Wells from Marvel.com. Now, no Robert Kirkman was talked about in the announcement article. Think this means anything? You think that they're kind of just like taking the idea but not having him consult on it? And do you think that might be a problem?
I don't know. I think they're just going to run with it. I mean, that's what they did with the first episode too, I think.
The What If.
Right. So I think they're just going to kind of take this and make it their own at this point.
But this is strictly a copy of Marvel Zombies. Like the logo is the exact same.
Interesting.
So this is a...
Yeah,
kind of a
it
telling
might
of the
suffer a little bit from Robert Kirkman, but Kirkman might want to turn it into something that the MCU doesn't need, because he can tend to write some pretty dark and
the comic
intense
series
stuff.
itself was really dark.
Right.
I'm even surprised they're making this into a series.
Right. So they'll probably try and just keep it in-house and make sure it fits within the framework.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to maybe suffer a little bit by that, but we'll see. I'm excited for it. Now, of course, we had a lot of things we already knew about, but we got a couple more, some information on these things. Now, Hawkeye, we got a whole new clip from this show on the Disney Plus Marvel special. So what did y'all think of it?
I think it looks like a lot of fun. It was interesting cinematography there in that short. It was all one cut for the most part. But it seems like they have a really fun interaction, the two characters. And it feels Marvel, but it also feels like a fun Christmas thing.
And a spy movie kind of too.
Yeah, it feels like a holiday show, but it's still got our Marvel characters that we know and love.
I'm very hard in Marvel.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it.
Dad?
Yeah, I love it. I loved the clip. I thought it was a lot of fun. I think that the relationship between Kate and Clint is going to be, it's going to have to to develop over these 6 episodes. I think that that could be really interesting to see the way that those two interact. I still want to understand. There's these couple of times in the original trailer and now in this clip where you sense that there's something more going on with Hawkeye. And it's obviously tied to Ronin and that kind of thing. I know that there's a connection there to Kate Bishop. We've talked about it on the show before, but I really want us to see the weight of Natasha being gone, what he did as Ronin, all of those things. I want to see that impact him, and not just this film or this series to be just kind of a light Christmas adventure romp. I want to see the emotion.
I don't think it will be. I think that they're going to handle it pretty well. But this show actually comes out next week with 2 episodes.
Seriously?
Any hopes for the
Holy
show?
cow.
Theories?
I did not realize it was coming out so soon.
I hope we get a lot of Rogers the Musical. That's what I hope.
Just one episode dedicated to Rogers the Musical. Come on, let's do it.
They need to do a bonus
they had to
feature
do
where
2.
they show the whole musical.
Oh yes,
yeah,
fully
I think
produced.
that'd be great.
Fully produced.
That's gonna go over.
I mean, we did have this one part in the trailer. I'm sure that the clip that we saw. I'm sure this is just a reference. I think he was joking. But in the faction run, Hawkeye does lose his hearing. And so when he was in the car, he's like, I can't hear you, you drive.
But even before she did that, she was mimicking the emotions.
So I'm wondering if he's starting to lose his hearing a lot, like in the faction run, which is awesome. I don't know why I love that idea so much.
It adds more to the character.
Yeah, I mean, he's not super powered. He can lose his
He's
hearing.
human. Yeah.
He's human. The next one, Agatha, House of Harkness. Now, honestly, from the announcement article that I read from Marvel, it looks like this show is going to be set before WandaVision. What do y'all think about that, Dad?
I think that makes perfect sense because she's still stuck in
nosy neighbor mode.
What's the city?
Westview? No.
Yeah, Westview.
Yeah, I think that's
she's
it.
still
I'm not
stuck in
sure.
Westview, kind of as her punishment from Wanda in this. So I was worried they were going to try to continue the story, which didn't make a lot of sense. I want to see that backstory.
Yeah,
I love the idea that we're going to find out more about who she is. That's going to be really
a
cool.
lot.
And I think eventually you're going to see that she gets let loose from the the stuff that
That'll be like a
happens.
post-credits scene or something, or maybe the
Mephisto
final episode
will come in, release her.
Because there's a huge relationship in the comics between Wanda and Agatha over time. And so I want to see that continue on at some point. So
yeah, I agree. I think it looks really interesting. And it's such an interesting character that we got like one few minute clip in the beginning of one of the episodes for backstory for her. And that's all we've got. So there's a lot. I mean, that was back in whenever the Salem witch trials were, that was a couple hundred years ago. I mean, what has she been getting up to at this point? Yeah. I'm curious to see where they go with this.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited about this. And the next one, I'm going to actually have to get a lot of Sam's thoughts on. Now, it's Ironheart. A genius inventor creates a new suit of armor, which is as advanced as Iron Man's armor. Now, Sammy, what do you think about this? Iron Man's your guy, and so they're kind of giving the mantle to someone new.
I mean, I remember when the comic series was announced.
Ripping it just by the name.
I thought the name was kind of dumb. It's not for me, but I know that I guarantee you there are a lot of people who like this character and draw inspiration from it. It is a female Iron Man. That's what it is. Iron Man was the inspiration for me to get into engineering. I'm sure there are plenty of girls who are going to be inspired by this character as well. And I think that's really cool. It may not be for me. I may end up loving it. I don't know. I mean, it's not going to replace Tony. He's my guy. Yeah. But it could be interesting. I'm cautiously optimistic for it. Let's go with that.
I love that the idea that that you can see this character being an inspiration for others, and that's the beautiful thing about all of this. It is subjective. It is, you don't have to like everything.
Exactly.
It's been fun for me, as the person that's kind of managing social media, as we talk about on the show. But I put out a post last week on a couple of the Facebook groups with all 10 of the Eternal characters, the Eternals, and no commentary on who I didn't like or what the movie or anything. posted it on
Just
some Marvel
asked who you
groups.
liked.
Who's your favorite Eternal and why? And interacted with people on it. And it's been fun to see, and there's been like, I love the fact that this character really connected with these characters in certain ways. We don't have to like everything about these things for it to be cool. So, but I'm curious to see how they're going to pull that off in this. They obviously have a plan for it. So it's, of course, sounds like it's going to be pretty cool.
I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be interesting. Now we have Secret Invasion, not Secret Wars. Very different. There you go, Dad. And we got like one little image from it, and it was Nick Fury, or is it? That's the question. Now, are y'all excited for this, or we don't really know much. We just know it has to deal with Skrulls and kind of taking over everything.
I think that it was definitely Nick Fury.
You think it's actual Nick?
I think that was.
He had the scratch on his face from
the Flurkin.
The Flurkin.
Yeah, the Skrulls are awesome. You're going to get some fun characters in that. Hopefully,
You think we'll get whoever plays Krennic, that guy, his Skrull back? Didn't he die?
Ben Mendelsohn.
No,
Ben Mendelsohn?
I don't think he's.
I hope we get him back.
Yeah, no, I think
he was fun.
He was fun. But he's a
we
good
got
guy,
this
though.
covered. Getting ready to put it out an article.
Yeah.
The Tatooine Suns confirms that Ben Mendelsohn is dead. So, thanks, Sam. All right. Yeah.
Gosh.
All right. Well, also the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Now, they threw up the logo, which we've already seen, but other than that, they did not even post an article about this. So we had nothing.
Does it come out this year?
For this. No, it comes out next year before Guardians 3.
Okay.
Which is exciting. I'm really pumped for the holiday special. I think it's going to be awesome.
It's going to fit those characters.
It is going to
do
fit him
something
so
like that.
well. Of course, Drax is going to be like, what is the point of this?
No, Drax is
Christmas?
going to start talking about his homeworld's traditions in exclusiking, uncomfortable detail.
Yes, and then you're going to want Star-Lord to make Groot the Christmas tree for the whole thing. You know that's going to happen.
I got nothing. After that, where do I go? So.
And What If Season 2? Now, okay, y'all weren't huge fans of What If Season 1. Are either of y'all looking forward to Season 2?
I think that you're speaking out of turn.
So
I was not a big fan of the way that they ended Season 1.
At the end of Season 1, were you like, okay, I would like to see a Season 2?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
But I did not care for the ending of Season 1.
Yes.
I did not like the final episode. Okay. So let's just do this. Yeah, heck yeah. Let's bring it on. I think that they've got lots of, they've created interesting stories, interesting characters, and interesting universes for What If Season 2 that we're going to continue. I think that wherever Natasha lands in the end of that, we're going to get in the end of Season 1.
We're definitely going to
get more of that story. We're going to get some Captain Carter. We're going to get Dark Doctor.
With all the clips that they showed throughout this whole thing, it was just Doctor Strange. So I think they're making him the primary focus of this show, which is what I got from the whole series.
I can see that.
He was the main, kind of like the second main character besides the Watcher.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very exciting. And then, of course, speaking of Groot, I Am Groot is coming out. It's going to be the tales of baby Groot and him growing up in a new world. I am really pumped for this show. What do you guys?
I have no idea what to expect from this.
Yeah.
And how hard is it really to write dialogue for this one?
It's going to be interesting. They actually had an I Am Groot comic series that I read the first couple issues for. I still have them. It was a lot of fun. He got lost on a weird planet and was like always getting into danger. It was awesome.
Okay.
It was a lot of
If
fun.
you like the character of Baby Groot, you'll like this show, basically.
Yeah, I missed him. We didn't get enough of him. And then he just went to Teenage Groot, which I don't prefer.
That's a lot of Marvel.
It is a lot of Marvel.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time talking about a lot of different things.
Yes, there was a lot
with that. And I guess it's time for us to throw in a dad moment here.
I am your father.
Yeah, I had the wonderful privilege of flying across the country during the bulk of the Disney Plus Day festivities. It was fun. I mean, the anticipation leading up to it was pretty palpable. Everybody was really excited. They were counting it down. The confusion during it was a little hilarious.
Yeah, the way they did it was like so strange.
Let's make all these major announcements on a Twitter thread, and they kept layering on. You guys don't do Twitter, so you don't understand.
I know. I was trying to like find the thread and figure it out, and I had no idea what I was doing.
So they would tag, Amy Adams and Patrick Dempsey for Disenchanted, right? They'd be tagged in that one, and then they would reply to that tweet with the next announcement and tag people on that, and reply to that tweet with the next announcement and tag the people involved in that. Problem is, every time you're doing that, you're tagging everybody above it in this, so it got a little bit weird for that. Like Patrick Debsey's hearing all about how people are upset that, everything going on with Star Wars and stuff. And this went on all day. And that's kind of leads to the next part, the meltdowns afterward, especially from Star Wars fans about this, was actually kind of embarrassing. First of all, fans should never attack social media managers for these brands. I mean, do you really think that somebody in San Francisco who's making barely enough money to live in that massively overpriced city has any control whatsoever about what is and what isn't going to be announced?
Right.
With that's not their fault. Why do we feel so entitled to more than we actually got? Is the other thing that I don't understand. We aren't entitled to anything. It's funny because the night before this, BB Nate, you and I were messaging back and forth about what we hoped would be announced, and I thought there'd be a lot more Star Wars announced in this. And you cautioned me to kind of hold back those expectations a bit, wait to see what actually happened. And I love the fact that you guys are both like that. That I have sons who understand what is and what isn't important when it comes to fandom. So,
well, I've been a DC fan for years, so I've had to temper my expectations for a long time.
He's been disappointed for his entire life as a DC fan. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. The future of Marvel is looking very bright. Then Hawkeye comes out next week, which is so exciting. I'm so excited to see my favorite Avenger coming to the small screen. And a new trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home came out today, or at least
it's not. No, see, it's not
the day you're listening to this,
but it doesn't come out till like the end of the day. So most people that listen to this, they're still going to be anticipating.
Well, it comes out in a few hours
today.
There you
comes out in a few hours.
Yeah. So very, very nice.
Very nice.
We got some movies coming out. A couple things happening this week, and some one trailer that most people listening to this podcast probably don't care about, but we do. And we'll look at the box office numbers. That's up next on Movie Moments.
At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge.
We have a couple new releases this weekend, and I'm actually interested in both. The first one we already have tickets for. It's Ghostbusters Afterlife. It is about when a single mom and her two kids arrive in a small town. They begin to discover their connection to the original Ghostbusters and the secret legacy their grandfather left behind.
Go Ghostbuster!
If they don't have that like on a radio,
I could go with some MC Hammer and do Ghostbusters 2 song.
Oh, go ahead.
I haven't seen Ghostbusters 2.
Too hot to handle, too cold to hold. We're called the Ghostbusters and we're in control. Sorry.
I still have to see that one before the next one. But it stars Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things, McKenna Grace, and Carrie Coon. Studio is Sony Pictures, so that's probably why we're getting an Spider-Man No Way Home trailer this week.
Yeah.
The director is Jason Reitman, the son of the original director for Ghostbusters. Cool. And it is rated PG-13 for supernatural action and some suggestive references.
There are so many reasons for us to watch this movie.
I know.
Like the fact that it's like it's a pop culture big time.
Yeah, right. Huge deal.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's directed by the son of the person that does it, so there's a connection there to what we do.
Maybe a little bit.
It's the multi-generational story within it. With it, it's perfect for us.
Yeah, I'm super
and we've got
excited
tickets.
for it. We already do for Thursday, so we're gonna see that. The next one is King Richard. It's about a look at how tennis superstars Venus and Serena Williams became who they are after their coaching from their father, Richard Williams.
I know this one name's going to get you.
Oh, I saw it.
I see it.
I just went, oh no. The stars.
That first one, Will Smith, that's a hard one. This is actually, can you try? I'm going to see how you pronounce it. Do you know what it is, Sam?
No.
Okay, go.
On Yuan?
No, it's
I don't know. On Yuan.
It's called Ingenue.
Ingenue. All right. I didn't know if it was like the J was an
I
H.
intentionally made sure that we didn't talk about it before because I wanted to see how you'd pronounce that name. So.
Yuan.
It's Ingenue.
Ingenue. Whatever it is, Ellis and John Bernthal.
Just look up the casting if you need.
Yeah, and John Bernthal, who wasn't he in Daredevil? I feel like he was in the Daredevil TV series. I don't remember, but the studio is Warner Brothers. Hiss. The director is Zach Balin and is rated PG-13 for some violence.
But if you are in publicity or marketing or advertising for Warner Brothers, please know that BB Nate still loves you. And
oh my gosh, yes! But sometimes the decisions made by Warner Media.
Okay, let it be nice.
But,
Walk it back.
It is rated.
The opinions of BB Nate do not.
The opinions of BB Nate do not necessarily represent the opinions of Tatooine Tatooine Sons or the rest of the hosts of
Tatooine
this
Sons
show.
LLC.
I have to be honest. It is rated PG-13 for some violence, strong language, a sexual reference, and brief drug references.
Right.
Now, the trailers, there's only one. It was Downton Abbey, A New Era.
There were some others, but they were movies we would never even have a conversation about. So.
And of course, Mom is super excited about this. She's been a Downton Abbey fan ever since the first season started.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be exciting. The box office numbers, Eternals still at the top, which is good, but not doing super well with 27.5 million.
That's not good.
Drop.
That is a significant drop, which plays into your theory, Dad, that it was going to have a significant drop in the second week, and it is especially this week with Ghostbusters coming out. And we had Clifford the Big Red Dog with 16.4 million.
That's in second place.
That's honestly a lot better than I thought it was going to be doing. And Dune with 5.5 million. So yeah.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
You did a good job. You did back to back stuff.
I know.
We finished your bad news part of the segment, and then we went straight into your big segment, and then you did the movie moments. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You did a good job. While we didn't get a ton of Star Wars content from Disney Plus Day, which we've mentioned already, what we did get, from my opinion at least, was more than enough. Hearing from Ewan McGregor's own lips that Kenobi and Vader might have another swing at each other is the most exciting thing that this Star Wars fan could have heard. And the sizzle reel, maybe Rian Johnson's trilogy is shooting, but that would, the sizzle reel has me asking more questions about the series than ever before.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Rebellions are built on hope.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
If you live long enough, you see the same eyes in different people.
Is that the same? Is that the? You guys remember the Disney Investors Day?
Yeah.
When they made all of the massive announcements.
Right,
And all
yeah,
that stuff.
that
Remember
was
they blocked out the screen for the people that weren't actually investors at a certain level?
Yes, I do.
And they showed something for Kenobi.
yeah.
I think that was what they showed.
That's probably
Yeah,
it.
that makes sense.
Because there doesn't seem to be anything going on other than what you would have expected from that.
Right. The concept art was really cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, and we're going to talk about that. Let's just start with this one word reaction to the trailer. BB.
Ooh, you threw this upon us. I don't know. Excited. I guess that's. Okay. I am pumped for the series.
I'm trying to think of synonyms for exciting or excited, but I want to say satisfying for the fans who have wanted to see this character come back.
I didn't even think about one for myself.
Good job there.
Yeah, good planning there, Dad. Hype.
Hype, yeah.
It was just designed to hype things.
And it worked.
And it did. It was absolutely good. We got our first look at some of the concept art, which, again, that's... that you have to take concept art with a little bit of a grain of salt because you never know if they're going to show it. But when you put it in a teaser like that or a sizzle reel, then there's story beats within it that I think we're going to see in this. So let's talk about some of those. All right, we get our first look at old Ben Kenobi.
Yeah.
Kind of a weathered, sitting up on that. Was it a dewback or something like that?
It's not a dewback. I don't remember what it's called, though.
Yeah. So he's sitting up on that. Sam, what do you think he's been doing this whole time?
I mean, again, that's what this show is all about, is to answer that question. I mean, he's got to figure out his place in the planet. I mean, he probably didn't start off in that little cubbyhole out in the middle of the Badlands or whatever. He probably started off in the cities. He's been, meeting some of the locals and figuring out the best way to help Luke, probably talking with the Owen and Amberu. So he's probably been dealing with that stuff at this point, and who knows what shows up, what threats show up in the desert. So
yeah, I don't know. I think that we do see him a lot in the cities. I think because he obviously knows of Mos Eisley and everything that happens there because he experienced it. Do you think we see a pretty young Cobb Vanth? A kid version of him?
I don't know. I don't know if
it would be tough to fit.
As a little cameo. But maybe he goes and is in Mos Espa. And I think that there are a lot of things that they could do with his feeling of being in all of these places, because he's always lived in Coruscant and in the high places, and now he's going to Tatooine. Whereas
I think that what we're going to see in this story is that for 10 years he's been pretty much held up and hiding. I think he's been trying to grieve the fall of Anakin and the Jedi Order and the fall of the Republic. I mean, all of that is a massively heavy burden that he feels with that. I think he's watching Luke. I think he's trying to take it. Maybe there's some moments where he's helped rescue Luke or protect Luke or whatever. But in the end, I don't think anything of significance has happened. I think there's going to be something that happens in the opening episode of this that's going to force Kenobi to stop being passive in this entire thing and go into action, and that's what launches our story forward with it. We see another shot, a Rebel base. It has these T-47 airspeeders, which are in Empire Strikes Back. That's what they convert to the snow speeders,
right?
With that, Nathan, how much of the rebellion do you think that we're going to get to see in this series?
I'm not sure how much we will get. I honestly don't want a lot. I really want this to focus on Kenobi is the primary focus, and not how he's helping the rebellion or a mission that he was put on by the rebellion. I want this to be about Kenobi. I think if we see them every now and then is fine. I think if he goes for them for help, or maybe has one episode where he helps them out, it would be really cool. I don't think we see a lot of them though. I hope that they don't, at least.
Yeah, I agree. I hope it's more like Obi-Wan's caught in the middle of this power struggle between the two. I mean, obviously he takes the rebellion side, but he's just more like a passive observer in those events, because that's not what he's there for. He's there to help Luke. So I hope it's just more like you see these two factions warring, and he's just kind of trying to stay out of it.
I think we got to be aware of the reality that the rebellion basically hasn't even formed at this point.
That's true.
We're 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, 10 years before A New Hope. This is the same period of time as Solo. And so you got Enfys Nest.
Yeah.
Ooh. What if we see Enfys Nest in this?
We won't.
But you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the level of rebellion organized. So you got Saw's partisans running around. You've got Bail doing his behind the scenes stuff. You got you don't even.
That's like a few years, like 5 years, I think. Before.
Really? I thought that was formed pretty early.
No. We don't have anything like that right now. Mon Mothma's still in the Senate. Bail is still in the Senate. So any rebellion is pretty behind the scenes right now. Okay. So if we do see the rebellion, we're going to be seeing the very beginnings of it versus anything else. There's another scene that looks very clearly kind of looks like the underworld. It looks like something's stripped straight out of the prequels, even on that. Sam, do you think that underworld scene that we saw is Coruscant?
Maybe. I don't know how you bring that in effectively. I feel like you really can't take Obi-Wan off world much, because that would kind of interfere with his whole point of being on Tatooine. We know Luke doesn't leave, because that's like his whole like reasoning for wanting to join the academy is to get off that rock. So I don't know how you take Obi-Wan anywhere else, and therefore I don't know how you get to Coruscant. It must be they're showing you another character.
Yeah, they show another planet on there, kind of a new planet. BB Nate, what are some of the reasons that Kenobi would have to leave Tatooine in this series?
Maybe to draw attention away from the fact that Luke is on Tatooine, because if Kenobi's there, then there might be a reason for him to be there. It's Tatooine. There's absolutely no reason for a Jedi like that to be hiding out on there. And there's obviously connections to Skywalker on there, so Luke. So maybe he's leaving planet to draw attention off of that, and maybe he has decided to take some influence from the Inquisitors and hunt them down.
Yeah, because we do get that photo or that concept art of a Imperial shuttle of some sort
with an Inquisitor,
and some stormtroopers landing on what it appears to be Tatooine.
Exactly.
With that, Sam, do you think it's the second sister, seventh sister, any of those?
It looks like I forget which number it is. Seventh in the game.
I think seventh.
It's second in the game.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks a lot like the second sister from Fallen Order. And I can't remember the timing of Fallen Order.
Fallen Order takes place about 10 years, or it's pretty close to to episode 4.
Yeah. Okay. Then you could see the second sister.
I'm trying to remember then.
Well, I feel like the rebellion's pretty well cemented in that game.
Okay, we'll have to check it out.
Anyway, I feel like as long as she's not dead at this point, I think you could definitely see the second sister show up, and it wouldn't be hard to transition her from game to live action. You just bring the same actress.
You know, there was a scene while and yes, Samuel did watch the trailer or the teaser
just before
we started recording this segment. There was a scene that you kind of saw him as being underground,
underwater, I think,
or underwater or whatever. I don't think that it looks underwater. I think it looks like Coruscant. I think it looks like the Jedi Temple on that. And so now we have this idea of their stormtroopers in the Jedi Temple, which we know is probably real. Whether or not that's actually what the concept art was for. Nate, how would you feel about Obi Wan Kenobi in this adventure, this journey, him having to leave Tatooine and go to some of these other planets, ending up back on Coruscant and in the Jedi Temple again? How would you feel about that?
I'm not sure. I don't know the purpose of him going back to the Jedi Temple. I'm trying to think of a reason he would have, and I can't really think of one. I mean, of course, was it Jocasta Nu in the Darth Vader Lords of the Sith series that actually did go back to the Jedi Temple? She had a reason, though. She was getting an artifact. So I don't feel like Obi-Wan would have any use for an artifact, though. So I'm not sure why he would go back.
Yeah, I mean, unless he's like somehow captured and taken prisoner, which kind of throws a wrench into literally everything. I don't know why he would go there. It would be interesting to see his thoughts and his emotions being back in such an important place.
I don't think we've ever really addressed the possibility that the Kenobi series would really extensively take Kenobi off of Tatooine. And I think that's actually really interesting. The idea, and him going to a rebellion base or him going to Coruscant. We already saw that underworld location that looks kind of like Coruscant. So if he's there in that underworld location, maybe that other planet is where that rebel base is that we've seen. So if he's on Coruscant, it's possible that there would be a reason. He needs some information. He needs to try to find somebody, and so he's going to the Jedi Archives.
I remember the Inquisitors are training somewhere, and maybe
all
it's
of that.
Temple.
All of that could be going on. I think it would be pretty cool. Honestly. Yeah. Then we have Darth Vader, a hologram. We get a couple shots of it where he's kind of sitting. It looks almost certainly he's on Mustafar in his castle. He's looking at a hologram. We can't tell at all who that hologram is. Sam, speculate irresponsibly for just a second. What are the chances we get Ian McDiarmid back as Sidious in this series?
I feel like that'd be the perfect place to bring him back. If anywhere, it'd be to hang out, or it'd be not hang out.
Just buddies.
Yo, what's up, Vader? How you doing, man?
Right.
We're just gonna hang out here. We're gonna FaceTime for a little bit. All right.
Thank you. I think it would be we're better to have Ian McDiarmid work as the Emperor, except with Hayden again. They had such a good chemistry in the prequels.
I need this now.
It would make sense to bring them back.
Yeah. And remember at Celebration 2017, you guys went to that panel where they were there together.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. Each other to death. Oh, yeah.
It was such a fun panel.
Make it so.
Yes.
That's a Star Trek reference, but that's okay. All right.
But that's okay.
Kenobi versus Vader. You see that big clash. It almost looks like we're back on Mustafar again.
But Vader's in his Vader suit.
Yeah.
That is Mustafar. Lava everywhere. Big,
Okay, so you've looked at the picture.
I have.
Did you notice who has the high ground?
Well, yes, it's Vader, but it's tilted, so
because
it's not
it's got cybernetic legs to ensure he has the high ground.
It's literally he's higher up.
It's like tilted. It's like a catwalk that's falling. And I'm wondering, do you guys think they're trying to one up the battle?
I don't.
Do you think they're going to try to do you think they're going to try to at least recreate the same hype around that, but with Vader and Obi-Wan this time?
They did show some sequences of him training.
I am holding back on these thoughts.
I'm not throwing up expectations.
It is a vision, maybe like a nightmare that Obi-Wan has, where he ends up fighting Vader, but it's like a nightmare, so he loses on Mustafar or something.
Doesn't he have dreams in the Kevin Scott story that we got?
So that's where I'm thinking it goes. He's having some nightmare where he ends up getting chopped up by Vader or something on Mustafar, and it's this really traumatic experience. I don't think we actually get them back on Mustafar. That would just be, I think fans would absolutely love it, myself included, but it is kind of jumping the shark if you think about it.
No, it's not. Make it happen. Let's do
Make it so, right?
Just give me all the fan service you can give me. I am Kylo Ren on that that gorilla walker in The Last Jedi on crate screaming more. Give it anyway.
Yeah, that was good. You could have just found like a clip to put that in there.
No, I did
It's too much.
There were some quotes. We'll run through them real quick because you can watch the sizzle reel and get the quotes, just like the pictures. But anyway, there's a hunger. Ewan McGregor, he says there's a hunger for this character to come back. The fans have waited long enough, that's something.
I mean, fans loved his portrayal.
He was excited. Yeah, I'm excited to see him play this character. Deborah Chow, she said something that's extremely exciting is the return of, obviously, Ewan McGregor as Obi Wan Kenobi. It's quite a dark time that we're coming into with him. Just being a Jedi, it's not safe. There are Jedi hunters out there. So I think that's confirmation that was an Inquisitor, and we're going to have live action Inquisitors.
Okay, that's where he's training for. He's not training for Vader.
Okay, I wouldn't be 100% sure. I was thinking back to Fallen Order, and I'm going to have to spoil it for Dad because it's been over a year since we've had Fallen Order. Vader himself showed up to fight Cal Kestis.
Yes.
It's Cal Kestis. He already had an Inquisitor on Cal Kestis, so he himself takes priority with Jedi that defeat Inquisitors. Even if it's not Obi-Wan freaking Kenobi. Mm-hmm. So there is a high possibility that Darth Vader is going to fight Obi-Wan.
I love you, BB Nate. This is why you're my favorite.
Yeah, okay. Totally.
Just kidding. All right.
Yeah,
Ewan McGregor, the most beautiful thing of all is that it brought me back together with Hayden and, of course, Deborah Chow. We couldn't tell the story of Obi-Wan Kenobi without addressing Anakin or Vader. And you're right. This series would make no sense without having to deal with the issue of that. That's the last time we saw Kenobi in the story. We have to know that. If you're thinking that you can predict what Deborah Chow and Lucasfilm are putting together in this limited series, you may want to go home and rethink your life. I think it's promising things that we would never have dreamed of. When's this coming out again?
I think it's not soon enough.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Anything else?
Yeah, don't get too excited about that Daredevil season 4 rumor. The source says he was mistaken.
I never said season 4, Dad. I said a new reboot series. That's what you.
Well, that's what they were talking about.
Well, okay. I think it might happen still. But Zack Snyder reveals the Batman villains he wanted in the DCEU, and I am not happy that it didn't get made.
Yeah. What were they?
It was going to be, Catwoman, Penguin, Riddler,
the Rogues
and
Gallery.
Everything. It was going to be that, and then we got a little bit more details about the Batman movie. It was going to be Deathstroke getting into Batman's head a lot and making him not know. And I was just, that's so disappointing.
And this one, I take such sadistic pleasure in communicating right now. I'm going to take my time with this one.
Like a fine
wine. We don't have time. We're already over.
At this point, it doesn't really matter for all of those YouTubers and clickbait toxic Star Wars people that have been making the claims that Kathleen Kennedy's job was on the line.
Which technically it was. I mean, contracts can get renewed and not renewed.
No, she was fired. They literally Doomcock. It's hard to even say that with a straight face. Why would you call yourself that? Anyway, went on his YouTube channel and said that she's been fired and that all of the Kathleen Kennedy Disney projects have been canceled.
Wow.
And then Kathleen Kennedy's contract was renewed for another 3 years today.
Heck yeah.
Let's go.
That's awesome. All right. And meanwhile, people start screaming all around the world that
as if millions of voices cried out.
Right. Yeah. So I'm so excited. I know I mentioned at the beginning, I am really excited about Friday's episode where we talk about the Matrix and we talk about some of the religious elements that are tied into the Matrix.
But you don't think you could
there's so much.
There's
a
lot.
There's so much more that you guys haven't even heard and
really
talked about. This conversation with Stuart, our pastor, super excited for that. So yeah, make sure you are subscribing to the show so you can get that one. And again, thank you cufflinks.com for sponsoring the show. We literally couldn't do this show without you right now. So thank you for that. And thank you, listeners, all of you. Thank you for listening to Tatooine Sons, a pop culture podcast.
If you had a good time listening, please share this with your friends.
Yeah, and of course the show, it's only a small part of the Tatooine Sons world.
Multiverse,
omniverse, whatever you want to call it. So be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter to get in on all the action. Thank you, Dad, for keeping those running. And keep up to date on everything we got going on at TatooineSons.com.
Again, please remember to follow the show on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss our next episode Friday about the Matrix with my friend Stuart. Thank you. Please listen to that one. It's going to be so good. Remember that if you drop us a review on any podcast app, but specifically it's easier for us to find out about them if you put them on podchaser.com/TatooineSons, we will make a donation in your honor to one child to help a child living in extreme poverty. Thank you so much for doing that. Give us a review, please.
We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, it would mean a lot to us. All right. Anything else that you would like to say?
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you, always.
This party's over.
I like that Wookiee.
Don't get technical with me.